You get involved in some high-stake critical projects. Everything is going fine till one day you realize that you are no more alive in this world. You have died under mysterious, unexplained circumstances. And to make it worse, your service to the nation, which is no less than that of a soldier, gets buried in public eye. And this brings down to three vital questions. Number one, why do top Indian scientists die the moment we get close to a breakthrough? Number two, who fears the rise of India so much that silencing scientists become more important than even stopping missiles? And number three, how long can a nation like India rise if its brightest of the minds remain unprotected in this way? "30-year-old Akashdeep Gupta, an engineer working on an advanced Brahmos missile. He dies suddenly at his home after playing cricket. Initial report, cardiac arrest. But here is where the news gets unsettling, because this death becomes just another example in the long tradition of mysterious and unexplained deaths of Indian scientists over the decades. By this time, if you have liked how the story is going, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. One click of yours won't take you much time, but this will give us the inspiration to work on such stories further. Thank you for subscribing. To give you some basic facts, between 1995 and 2010, ISRO units reported there were deaths of around 684 employees, many of which were unexplained, mysterious, many of which were like suicides. Now the question comes, why would scientists commit such high rates of suicides? Or are these really so as reported? And similar figures go for BARC and DRDO, be it drowning, food poisoning, accidents, suicides, and even murder. Between 2009 and 13, particularly for BARC, it was the most darkest of the periods. Why? Because it was reported that 11 of their prime scientists died in same mysterious and unexplained circumstances. And this is not something new that is happening. The year was 1966. Homi Bhabha, the genius who built India's nuclear technology indigenously. One fine day, he declared in public that India is close to build its own nuclear weapons. And then in few days, his aircraft crashed in Mobla in Europe, killing everyone. And with his death, India's nuclear program got delayed by at least 1 decade. 1971, Vikram Sarabhai, the architect of ISRO, dies mysteriously in his hotel room. And can you realize, this is a timeline that is spanning over decades and years. And this way, so many scientists have actually died in unexplained circumstances. So would you not raise this question? Why are they actually dying? And if so, who are behind their deaths? Isn't this a silent act of war waged on India? And this is where the story turns darker, because you start going down this rabbit hole, you discover something very spine-chilling. These aren't just unfortunate deaths. They form a pattern that shows up only when India crosses a certain technological threshold. Every decade, as India pushed one boundary, someone, somewhere, some force kept pushing us back. Not through diplomacy, not through sanctions, not through military, but by removing the very minds that creating the breakthroughs. And then comes the most critical 3 parts between 1990 and 2010s. Number 1, the cryogenic setback. 1990s, when India began developing the indigenous cryogenic engine, the single most critical technology needed to launch heavy satellites, which is the backbone of ISRO today. World's leading space agencies and powers did not want India to have this capability. The US pressured Russia to cancel the technology transfer. kind of sanctions and pressures mounted. And right in the middle of the storm, teams at ISRO started losing key scientists to sudden and unexplained deaths and disappearances. And now what happened to one of the key architects of the cryogenic engine is now well known, the case of Nambi Narayanan. Just when the engine was getting ready in its final stages, the system framed him in false espionage charges, tortured him, and he languished in jail. He survived, but these 2 decades of his life went out. He lost his career, and the cryogenic dream of India got delayed by around 2 decades. Number 2, the failed thorium revolution. 2000s. India was on the verge of unlocking something that could have changed the global power and energy equations forever. Thorium-based nuclear reactors. India has 25% of world's thorium reserves. And thorium reactors are safer, cleaner, and could have made India energy independent for around 200 years. Then the same story unfolded, and we just couldn't do anything. Scientists developing advanced heavy water reactors started dying in rapid succession. Drowning, railway accidents, alleged suicides, food poisonings, no investigations beyond the surface level. And imagine if thorium reactors had really succeeded, India could have broken the nuclear monopolies and the syndicates. 3. The missile and naval supremacy. Now comes the most dangerous phase, the era which we are living through right now, 2010 to 25. In this period, when India really became a missile superpower, the Agni 4 and 5, the Brahmos upgrades, the hypersonics, the air defenses, the nuclear subs. And guess what? This is also the same period when DRDO and BARC reported the highest number of unexplained deaths. Some were even found lifeless in secure facilities with no sign of struggle. And every time the official report read like it was a copy-pasted from the last one, the underlying message to the Indian ambition was subtle but clear. We are watching you, you better slow down. Three forces stand to gain when an Indian scientist disappears. First, the global powers. India's rise in nuclear, space, missile, energy, and technology disrupts global power equations. They will target not by bombing a facility, but today by eliminating one key mind holding it together. Second, global defense and energy cartels. India's own thorium reactor could have disrupted the global uranium syndicates. A self-reliant India means billions lost to those who control today's defense technology. And third, the internal sabotage. As General Bipin Rawat once said, that India's greater danger is not from outside, but from the enemies within. One leak, one compromise, one bribe, one weak link. That's all it takes to break a national program. We have to understand that India is perhaps fighting a war that no one declared, and that a battlefield which no one can see. A war not on its borders, not on its economy, but on the brains. Either you drain out the brain by offshore high-paying jobs, or you simply just kill it. Hence, what happens to a country losing a scientific minds? It cripples the nation for decades. But then there is something quite depressing happening. An actor in India can get more security as he has a huge fan following, and politicians would not risk losing it. But a scientist in India might be working in some very high critical technology, high-stake technology, like for example the jet engine. And he might be going home from his office by driving his own car without any such security measures or security strategy. And when in a time, his life could be equally in great danger. India has never built a scientist security doctrine. We never recognize that in this modern world, scientists are also the frontline warriors. First, if India can protect its politicians and celebrities, then also it must protect its scientists. in the same urgency. It is not an option, it is not symbolic. A dedicated intelligence unit that hunts infiltration attempts, tracks foreign interest, monitors sabotage and risk, and maps every threat around the critical labs. Scientists must be trained to live life like covert assets and not like public figures, neither like celebrities. And here is the final truth we must confront. India is no longer a rising power. It has already risen. And that is the reason someone, somewhere, some force has already declared a silent war against us. The real question is, are we prepared to protect the minds which build our nation? Are we ready to protect the next Bhaba, the next Sarabhai, or the next Abdul Kalam?